So, having decided to run a video series on fatigue management for MS, I thought I'd better actually do my first video on how fatigue manifests itself in me. But just to give you the context, I'm lucky enough in my local area to have a really good NHS MS support team who have just run a 6-week fatigue management course for sufferers of MS or with MS, and that's been really useful. I mean, it's great that they run these regular courses. They do other things as well, but this is their regular fatigue management course. So I hopped on that, and it ran for 6 Monday afternoons and covered lots of different topics each week, such as sort of sleep, stress, exercise, diet, mindfulness, physiotherapy, all these kinds of things. So I'll hopefully relay some of what I picked up on the course. A lot of it I was doing anyway, which is great, but there's a few things that I think are really worthwhile. All of it I'm going to share with you in some way or another. But anyway, what is fatigue to me? It appears that the statistics, I think, are something like 60% of people with MS suffer with fatigue. But we talked about this in the course, and actually it's likely that those stats are just way understating the prevalence of fatigue with MS sufferers. Literally every single person with MS that I've ever met says they suffer with fatigue. Fatigue is the classic symptom of MS, and really is one of those symptoms that allows MS to qualify for one of these invisible disabilities in a lot of sufferers. Now, a lot of people who have had MS for a considerable amount of time are obviously disabled in terms of movement and some of the very obvious symptoms. That can affect your eyesight very severely and all these other things. However, in the early days of MS suffering, you can have MS, and a lot of people are questioning, actually, so for me, especially now I've had HSCT, stem cell therapy, my MS is very much, if you just met me for the first time, you wouldn't have a clue I've got MS. But those things like fatigue, the fact that I can't feel the ends of my fingers, the fact that I will tire in my walking and my coordination isn't particularly good and I couldn't play sports, for example, means that I really do have MS and feel it very acutely at times. But it's arguably one of those invisible disabilities for me at the moment for other people. And fatigue is one of those things that creeps up on you and has you by the throat, and it's always there, affecting me. So obviously I will suffer from becoming tired after doing physical exercise or doing too much, the classic feeling of physical tiredness and lethargy. So that is always there when I do a lot of physical activity. But I think for me, the most challenging side of fatigue is how it affects my motivation. So I can feel quite flat, and I don't have those emotional highs and lows, I suppose, on a daily basis. I think I exist much more in this in a smaller band of kind of motivation and energy, and I can feel very, very flat, and this can affect my desire and motivation to get up and do stuff. I can much more easily sit and play a PlayStation for 4 hours rather than feel, oh, I've got to go and do this, got to go and achieve that, got to get up and do this. And it can take me a long time to just build up the bother, I suppose, to actually get on and do something. Whereas previously, before I got MS, I was very much a doer. I do an awful lot of stuff and very active, both, you know, physically and mentally, and I just achieve an awful lot. And these days it just takes me so much more to do that, both in terms of, say, going and mowing the lawn and doing some stuff around the house, as well as sitting down and writing, you know, my blog entries and my articles and doing book stuff. So because I'm an author in my spare time, so um, I I now struggle to achieve as much, and that's largely a motivational thing, as much as having the kind of raw energy or wherewithal to do those things. So that fatigue has a double is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's about the energy that I have, and on the other hand, it's about the motivation to actually do the things which I may or may not have the energy to do. And I think that it's that latter one that really affects me. It's that motivation that I really need to overcome somehow. Um, yeah, so fatigue for me is a challenge. It's a very real challenge, and I think when I get back to work soon as a teacher, I think motivating myself to do all the things I have to do is going to be one of my big challenges. Yes, I can turn up and go to work and do what I have to do as far as being at the coalface and teaching at the front of class, but actually, how am I going to manage having to do the things that I know I have to do, but I might not have the motivation to do, you know, and do I put these things off and off that I should be doing here and now? You know, the paperwork side of stuff and this and that. So I think that will be a real challenge for me, and managing my fatigue is something that is massively important for me to be as you know, capable a worker and as capable a partner and father as I should be. Um, I need to make sure that I have that motivation, as well as the energy, the pool of energy and the resources to draw upon to do those things. So anyway, I will now do a bunch of videos that should cover how to manage fatigue. I'm no expert, but just sort of sharing what I think I've picked up along the way. And hopefully these videos will be useful for others. If you have any questions, obviously put it in the comments down there or on my blog comments. And please subscribe to my video channel, because it would be great to get a bunch of subscribers. Yay! Thanks for watching, and I hope this has been useful.